Hey guys, how's it going? Let's see, how late was I? A little bit. I think I put 12:15. I don't know what I put, but I apologize. I was doing some things. I was hoping I was hoping to get because Fred is sleeping, and I wanted to discuss more like specifically tonight. Um, the whole situation with this broke down, like, I don't know if it was a broke down car or broke down motorcycle, but in the call with Jason Jensen, that is talked about, and somebody's going to try to get me the timestamp of when it's brought up so I don't repeat it wrong because, like I said, Fred's in bed. The bandit, hush. The let's see, I was just getting that live up. The main thing I wanted to talk about though was like the weird conversation we had was like, well, not we, but really Fred had with somebody who contacted Fred. Okay, I just feel like it's extremely important, even more so now, like who these people were, like that were broken down. Um, Fred remembers on June 15th of 2021 there being this gold Lexus and then also this motorcycle that were they were broke down. I don't know if it was the bike. I know the bike wasn't running. I think he was like pushing the bike. From my understanding, like from what I remember, like don't take anything from my memory as correct because obviously my memory is horrible, but I do know that there was, that Fred claims he did see these people broke down. And the timing is super important too, because if you think about it, this was at would have been around like 4 to 4:15 p.m. Eastern time, and I feel like that's really important timing because if you remember, Fred, he remembers what time, this would have been because of the scrapyard closing at 4 and he couldn't get there in time. He didn't make it in there in time. So he had to, when he was getting all his trailer and everything hooked up, and had to unhook it because Andy passed and stuff and had to let him by, so it ended up like taking too much time that he was never able to haul that stuff off to the junkyard or whatever it was that day. I guess it's a junkyard or whatever. It's like a place like you scrap stuff, I think. um so that's how he knows, like when he left out of there, like it would have been around 4ish because of that whole incident. So Fred goes right out of Ben Hill Road. Let me see here. Mm. Stop, Bandit. Jeez. Okay, I'm not trying to show. So the area, I'm just going to kind of pull up a map a little bit about an area. I'm not going to put an exact of these people's address, but it's a mile and a half down Beach Creek, where this situation happened. Okay. Right near, we'll say this. I'm not going to show exactly it. Okay, we're just gonna, we don't need to say exactly where it is. But it's near this Beach Creek and Light Cemetery Road area. And it's about, and Ben Hill Road, I think, is it here? No, hold on. Right here. Here's Ben Hill Road. So Fred would have gone here and turned right. It went down Beach Creek, okay, and went until you get about right here. I don't know if you guys could see my cursor, but that's about the area. Okay, that's a good we'll just say a close area without giving out these people's address or anything. Okay, so this is where that was broken down. Fred says it was definitely the 15th. And it was two young guys who, one was like light features and then the other one had like darker features. But it was just a weird situation that happened. Okay, so here we go. Somebody got me the timestamp where it gets discussed.
Are you a gifted psychic, tarot reader, or spiritual advisor? Turn your passion into career with Oranum.
So no, I can't do anything like official.
Yes, so you can't. I don't know if you're allowed to reach out to us or not, but just to talk. Just to talk.
Me to talk to you. I mean, people can make friends and whatnot.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If you ever want to talk the case again, just conversate. Then this is where yeah, you save our number because there's so much, and I don't know, there might be something that Fred could help fill in that might help.
Right. Okay.
So I
am curious about that motorcycle incident more than anything.
Yeah. I'm really nervous about that motorcycle, like what that whole thing was. I can send you, it'd be easier to send it on Facebook Messenger, the conversation between Fred and that woman who contacted him a couple nights ago, or yesterday, or a couple nights ago that we turned in.
Yeah. 20 seconds when at 10:53 when we turned into this.
Yeah, and her weird, how she was acting weird. At first, she tried to act like what is Fred talking about? That never happened. That he knows that him and her husband don't get along, and that he would never stop, or Fred would never stop there and stuff. And then she tries to turn around and pull on Andy and say, "Oh, that was the 13th," because she knows that she watches YouTube. She's big on YouTube, so she knows what days to say, because the 14th was when Fred, he has put out there many times. So I guess this doesn't talk so much about the incident itself. Like, this is just us like talking about the conversation after it. But earlier in this conversation, we talk about the motorcycle. I wish I was knew exactly. I don't know. It's somewhere. This is a long conversation, so it's okay. I do want to talk a lot about that conversation because I think it's very, very. I don't know. It's suspicious. Um, we've talked about this before. The location of where this bike and car were located was at the end of Bill Shipley's sister-in-law's driveway, or actually Bill Shipley's, I don't know why I say it like that, Bill Shipley's brother's driveway. And it's just strange because this whole search happened on Van Hill Road, and then it's just all of a sudden this woman reaches out of nowhere who lives at that property, and because I don't know, she's had so many years to contact Fred and say something, but never has. And then she wanted to act like this incident didn't happen. And Fred just really wanted, whatever. He just wanted to make sure that the footage got turned in. You know what I mean? Because we feel like that incident could be really, really important. But this woman right here, of course, tried to act like at first, like it didn't happen at all. And then you'll see in this conversation how she changes her, it's crazy. It has to do about this broke down motorcycle and car situation, okay? So I'm going to read this to you guys, and let me pull up on my phone the chat so I could see your guys' comments. The sheriff has watched and observed the case. Hopefully. I mean, I think that Scott Stewart is going to, according to, he worked closely with the two guys that Fred recorded for. So we're hoping that it will be a good thing, that maybe he knows more. Oh, shit. A good thing. Or that he knows, certain things, up close and personal, more so than maybe Ronnie Lawson would. Because Scott Stewart was working with the drug task force, and that group is very small. There's only 5 of them. So, they were really a big part of the Summer Wells investigation at the very, very beginning. Especially, not so much, Fred didn't see Scott around, but he would have worked closely. If there's only a small handful of them, he's probably going to hear firsthand certain things. Yeah, it gives me hope too. Even so, Ronnie might end up pulling something off, last second. You never know. So, this woman who is Bill Shipley's sister-in-law, which I kind of feel like somebody put her up to this to try to make Fred look a certain way. instead of, I don't know what to freaking think of this, guys. I keep going back and forth. Like, I don't understand it. Like, you guys have to make up your own mind on why she like goes from saying it didn't happen to saying it happened on the 13th. And Fred wanted to appease her a little bit in this conversation. Like, when he was trying to say, he knew that she was down there. Like, when she tried to say in this conversation she wasn't down there, like, Fred knew, like, he saw her right there, but he was just trying to, like, not argue with her in some of this and go along to keep her talking in a way. Anyways, she says, "Hey, who did you haul the motorcycle for from my driveway?" And Fred says, "I don't know who he was. You and Tim was standing there helping him when I pulled in before I went and got the trailer and hauled it that day on the 15th." And she goes, "No, we wasn't. Nobody went to the bottom of the hill to help except Tim. And I know if Tim had been standing there, you wouldn't have even stopped. I wasn't down there at all." And Fred says, "Yeah, me and Tim spoke to each other and stuff. He was asking Tim if he had a relay and stuff and knowed how to hook it up or hook it back up between his fuel pump and stuff. And Tim told him no, he didn't know, or whatever that. He probably had some kind of security system on it. And that's when I asked him if he needed somebody to haul it. And he said, yeah. And I told him, hold on, I'll go get a trailer. Well, I know Tim was down there for sure. I was thinking you was down there, but I may be wrong about you being down there. I know Tim was down there for sure." And side note, by the way, guys, Fred told me, like, he knows she was down there too, that he was just trying not to argue. That's what he told me anyways. Like, he said, like, to me, like, she was there, that he just didn't want to argue with her. And so he was just like, that's what he was saying to me. But either way, it says, Fred goes, "I figured you and somebody still have your surveillance and stuff up down there and got all of that on video of all of us. Stay there because I would like to know who that guy is." He was doing voice to text. "I didn't know him from Adam. I was trying to be a decent person and help out, but he had me take the bike to Westside Inn." And then she goes, "I was standing on our porch. The guy told..." See, now she's saying she was standing on their porch. And now, like, why she act like it didn't happen at first? And now she's saying she was standing on the porch. Like, it's really confusing. She goes, "I was standing on our porch. The guy told Tim that somebody on Ben Hill Road had stolen his motorcycle and he went and got it back. There also was a gold-looking car there too with another guy in the driver's seat. The guy told Tim that somebody had stopped and was supposed to be coming back with a trailer. When that person came, it was you. You pulled off into our grass a little bit, and Tim told you to get out of our yard. You backed out into the road, and Tim got his jumper cables and came back up the driveway when you got there. Also, it wasn't June 15th. It was June 13th. That happened on Sunday, not Tuesday." So she goes from saying this didn't happen at all, to now it's happened on June 13th. And Fred, like, just really wanted her to turn in the freaking footage. Is all he wanted her to do. Not argue with her about what she thought date it was. It's like, well, hello, you should have the footage. And then Fred goes, "Do you think he could have had something to do with Summer going missing? Do you have surveillance of that day? If so, turn into TBI." "Fred, we both know that you and Tim have not got along for years. You literally shot shot when him and our 12-year-old was going four-wheeling past our camper, which this is a completely not true. But you and Tim didn't get along before that. When you stopped down there, it was only the guy on the motorcycle and the guy in the car. What is she even talking about? Like, about them and Tim not getting along. Now she wants to say, now when you stopped, like, what the hell? And she even said, he said, I never shot at Tim. That's why I'm asking you. The motorcycle was stolen from Kingsport, took to Ben Hill Road, and the guy found his bike and went and took it back from Ben Hill Road, and you lived on Ben Hill Road. Makes no sense. Oh, well, Fred's like one of several that lived on Ben Hill Road. Anyways, like, she's trying to it's just weird how she's acting about this incident, dude. And it's like, why don't you just turn in the footage? Why are you acting so fucking weird? Like, it's weird. And Fred goes, all I want to know is, do you have surveillance of that boy on the bike and that gold Lexus? If so, I think it's critical to Summer's case. We can put our differences aside for Summer. And then she says, I've talked to TBI and Hawkins, and so you do know exactly what kind of car it was. This is for Summer, because I have had this gut feeling that happened that day led to what happened to Summer. So she's literally saying right here, she thinks that whole thing that she saw of them broken down, that she acted like didn't happen at fucking first, is now she's saying she has a gut feeling it had something to do with what happened to Summer. So she goes from acting like it didn't happen to now she thinks she has a gut feeling what happened that day led to what happened to Summer. So that's what we're trying to say. It's like, if you think that's what we're trying to get you to do is turn in the footage. Why are you arguing with Fred about it not happening? Now all of a sudden it happened, and now all of a sudden you think it has something major to do with what happened to Summer Wells. Like, what? It's sad we live that close to those people. I had no idea they even lived there. And Fred says, so do I. And she said on June 13th, not June 15th, absolutely positively for sure of the date. And then Fred said, do you what? He said, I feel like it's very important in Summer's case. I feel like it may have been revenge. Did you turn in the footage of that? Please say you did. I was saying, I hope you turn the footage in, and that I feel like it's critical to Summer's case. And she said, I have always thought it was a drug debt or revenge. And I think the day of the motorcycle being hauled is part of what led to happen. So here she's trying to say she thinks it's important to what happened to Summer Wells. Again. Hey, Chloe. Fred's not here this evening. He's in bed. Then he goes, when I asked him where to take the bike, at first he said Mullinex Drive. I told him I didn't know where Mullinex Drive was. That's what he meant to say anyways. And he said, well, can you take it to West Side Inn? I said, sure. And then he changed it to Mullinex Drive. And then Fred said, I'm using speech to text. I'm sorry about some of the misspelled shit. And on the way to West Side Inn, he talked about he had traded the bike to his father for a Toyota truck, and his father is supposed to live in Duffield. I talked to TBI about it, but they didn't act interested. And then she goes, this is definitely not Fred, it's Ziggy. You forgot that I'm a country bumpkin too, and we don't speak that same language. And he said, no, it's Fred. And then he sent her a voice message to say, hey, it's me. And he says, I'm using speak to text right now, and I've got somewhat of a cold, and everything doesn't come out right. My backward ass slang too, whatever. Just speak to text is set up for Yankees. West Side Inn once won the best known drug anything else places. Red flag, dude. So where else can I drop your bike is what I would have said, but I was clean at the time and you wasn't. Oh my fucking God, dude. Oh my God, dude. Red flag, dude. Like nobody thinks that somebody is doing something with a child. Like, how was Fred supposed to have known? Nobody would have thought that. And he said, right? Nothing towards your recovery because I have been there, and even though we don't get along, good luck with that. But see, when I came out, and Fred says, but see, when I came out through there, when they was there, I thought it was Junior Light, and that was standing there because he favored Junior a lot. That's one, or I think it says JR, not Junior, JR Light. Favored JR a lot. That's one reason I stopped to help to see if he needed help, because I thought that was Juanita's car he was driving. And she said, you thought Junior Light was driving a motorcycle? And he said, I don't know about Junior riding no bike. No, I was talking about the boy that was driving the car that was there with the boy that was on the bike. I thought he looked like JR is the reason I stopped. She said, are you talking about JR or Junior? And he said, Juanita's son, the one that was in a bad wreck. I was like, when I seen that boy, I was like, how in the hell is that JR? It looks just like him, but it ain't. He's still in bad shape. That's what I was telling Laura. But I'm not saying it's JR that was driving the car. I was just saying that it favored JR a lot and almost could have passed for his twin. And then here she goes, freaking sitting here like being Fred. He was in a bad wreck. Like, that's exactly what Fred's saying, is like, it's not this JR dude, but the dude looked like him. And then she goes, Fred, he had a very bad wreck on Beach Creek at the bottom of Bob Dyke's Road way before that and has to be taken care of 24/7. That makes no sense. And Fred's like trying to tell her, like, I know it wasn't him. It just looked like him. He goes, yeah, that's what I know. That's why it confused me. When I seen him, I thought how in the hell is it him and him in bad shape? But that boy favored him so much is all I was saying. But yeah, I knew you had that bad wreck and stuff. And I was trying to figure out how in the hell I was seeing that boy and thinking that was Jared because he looks so much alike. And then the Lexus he was driving favored Juanita's car at the time, but just a little different shaded color. Oh my God. And then she's going to go, you said you stopped because you thought it was him. Oh my God. Yeah, I thought it was him, but I was at the same time was trying to figure out how it could be him after a wreck. And then she goes, I need to know why you are saying it was a day Summer went missing when you hauled the bike at the bottom of the driveway. That really eats at me. I've had so many questions, all of you from our area, and so many are suspects in a missing little girl's case. Oh, really? Like, I really. So now she's going to call Fred a suspect. So, now why is she going to say it eats at her? If she knows it was the 13th, why does it eat at her so bad? You know, that's what's so strange here. Somebody who acted at first like this incident did not happen, then tried to say it happened on, then now says it happened on the 13th, but then goes from that to like acting weird, like she doesn't act sure that it was the 13th, because why is she freaking out? It just doesn't make sense. Like, why, if she feels like she knows it was the 13th, then why is she acting so like unsure about it? Oh, thank you, Chloe. He's in the bed laying down, so I can't have access. I don't have access to his phone, but that's so sweet of you. I appreciate that. I'll go check that out in a second. So I don't know. It's just weird, like how she wanted to act like it didn't happen, then and then Fred goes, "I was pretty sure it was on the 15th that happened. I could have been wrong, but I was pretty certain it was the 15th because when I came back in from hauling that bike, I hauled Brandon Clark's bike back to Ben Hill, had it on a trailer when they had the hauler shut down. So." And then Fred again, he goes, "Oh, so you do have it on surveillance? It was on." So he's asking if she had it on surveillance on the 13th, or so do you have it on surveillance? It If it was on the 13th, I don't know what he meant there. Like I said, he's asking if she has it on surveillance, like on the 13th. Either way, like he felt it needed to be turned in. And she said, like I said, I have talked to TBI and Hawkins about the 13th. Where did the Lexus go when you hauled the bike? So I think that was like the end of it. That's the end of the messages. Where did the Lexus go when you hauled the bike? Fred still tells me that he's certain it was on the 15th on that one. Like he's still so certain that it was on the 15th. Like he just didn't want to argue with the lady, and he wanted her to just turn in the footage of whatever she had because he felt like it was important no matter what day it was. It's like, okay, well, if you want to say it happened on the 13th, we'll turn that stuff in. But isn't it weird, like how she goes from, or am I just like imagining this, how she goes from saying it didn't happen and then changing over to it happened on the 13th. Like at first she was like saying, "Oh, you would never stop here," because she's like trying to, under the belief that Fred shot at Tim, which on the four-wheeler, which did not happen. It was not Fred. This is Bill Shipley's sister-in-law, because it was her driveway that these people were broke down at. And Fred always wanted, like, kind of wanted to, like, ask them if they had turned in that footage and stuff, but she just, so he didn't really ever have a really good relationship with them. Like, that's true, because of that whole incident, that she wanted to believe it was Fred that shot at Tim, but it was not Fred, but whatever. Not that incident. Now, there's an incident where, I mean, I don't really want to put him out there like that, but when you're peeping in windows and stuff, like, I mean, you don't do that. I don't know. I don't know. We don't know how they found out his bike was out there and stuff. That's a good question. How did they know where their bike was? And Fred had never seen those people before. Yeah, I don't know what she was trying to do. I don't know if she was trying to get something for like a hate channel or something, and it didn't work out the way she wanted, or I don't know if there's something to hide. Like, I don't know how exactly to take it, because why would you want to hide something like that? It just seemed like, to me at first, you want to act like it didn't happen at all, and I don't understand why. If it's completely an incident that had nothing to do with you, it just so happened to, I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like she wanted to act like it didn't happen at all at first. That's what it seemed like to me. And like I said, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people have made people think that we've said things that we exactly haven't said. Probably because Bill Shipley's her family, and even though like she's all over Facebook, talking shit to him, like still he's her family and stuff, and she still like defends him somewhat, which is fine. I mean, this doesn't have anything. It shouldn't have anything to do with that, though. It should be with have to do with getting justice for Summer Wells. You know what I mean? Not any kind of drama. Yeah, to probably give it to. I honestly felt like somebody had her reach out. I know it did. And honestly, all we wanted to do was make sure that she turned that in, because like even she said in those messages she feels like it had to be important. So okay, well then if you're saying it happened the 13th, like, and that makes me freaking uncomfortable that she thinks it has something to do with Summer Wells, but yet she then questions Fred and acts like, why are you saying, it happened on the 15th, and like, and it bothering her. It makes me think that she never turned in the freaking footage, because if she has the footage, she would know what date it happened for a fact. She wouldn't have to. She could go back to the cameras and see on June 15th at that time that, okay, no, this incident actually happened the 13th or whatever. Like, she would have that on footage. I don't understand why. It just doesn't seem. It seems like to me she's trying to hide that. Yeah, it's at a very crucial time. It's happened at around 4 to 4:15 ish. If I'm taking a good guess, of course this is coming from me, but that's when Fred says it would have been about, because it would have been a little bit after, since he's missed getting to the scrapyard that closes at 4. We're thinking this is all happening around 4:50. It's only a mile and a half down Beach Creek after you turn right. Well, I hope that's not it, Annie, because, it's not, I don't find it very funny in Summer's case to play around,
You already know what creator was behind that.
Well, yeah.
Because this case went you, week before last, and then Tabitha started texting me.
But I hate that people like to play games in the Summer Wells like case and stuff. If that did have something to do with the creator or whatever, like, I wish people would think before they get involved in that kind of stuff on purpose. Just muddies the waters, and things are already confusing enough. We're trying to get an idea of the things that were happening around June 15th at those crucial hours. Oh, I should have asked Fred for his phone to see the Cash App. He'll be back, I'm sure, here in a few. But I think it's important to know what exactly was going on, and
I mean, just like they try to say, oh, Brandon said that I didn't haul his bike on the 15th either. Well, it was on his trailer when I went in. The road was shut down.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Chloe. I just saw the Cash App. I appreciate you so much.
I mean, that's only the 15th is the only day I've ever hauled any motorcycle. Period. Ever in my life, I've never hauled a motorcycle other than on the 15th. And them two bikes, the bike that was broke down, hauled at the West Side End. Then when I come back, I hauled Brandon's bike from Long Slaughter back to Ben Hill, and it was on the trailer when they had the road shut down and stuff when I went in.
Yeah.
That's the only day I've ever hauled a bike at all in my life. And I had a trailer for it.
So, what was going on with this car and this bike? Was the car broke down too, or was it just the bike?
The boy that was in the car evidently brought the boy down there, and they found the bike, and that boy was pushing the bike back up the road.
Do you know how they found the bike?
Huh?
Do you know how they found the bike?
I don't know how they found the bike. He told me he found it on Beach Creek. He didn't say nothing about Ben Hill Road. But Tax is one that said that he found it on Ben Hill Road.
Yeah, that's crazy if true, because that, like, obviously, since that happened on the 15th, and Fred and others were showing pictures of people on Ben Hill that day, that person wasn't on there. So you knew that these people couldn't have been on camera.
Yeah.
So it had to have been, if they got that found that bike on Ben Hill Road, it would have had to been on Andy or Don's, or
because
the other Don.
That car or nothing wasn't seen on Ben Hill Road on the cameras on Thompson's or my camera. So on the 15th. I don't know if it was ever on Thompson's camera before the 15th or whatnot, but I didn't see the footage before the 15th on Thompson. Just what the law enforcement showed me on of the 15th to identify people, you know. Then I never seen them on my camera, period, that gold Lexus. But the gold Lexus followed when I picked the bike up and we was headed towards Kingsport with it. He followed us. But the guy that was pushing the bike, he actually rode in the truck with me and Laura.
Huh.
And the guy, that's why we stopped at Zoomer's, is because the gold Lexus was about out of gas and they wanted to stop there to get gas in it before we
So Zoomer, they should be on footage on Zoomers. Is that before you saw Andy?
Yeah. Before I seen him at Zoomer's, I seen Andy on the road earlier before then.
Right,
because if you don't put that out there, he didn't see until after that. You know how that bullshit goes.
No, but like you were at Zoomers several times that day.
Yeah, I stopped there because they wanted to stop and get gas in the Lexus.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't stop until I come back from. That's the first place I stopped back at when I came from dropping it off at West Side Inn.
And then you came back to Zoomers after you got done with all that and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You never saw those people again? Ever again?
I seen that boy at an auto parts store somewhere. Just that boy and his dad.
Like one of the guys?
Run into him. Yeah, the one that actually was.
Which one's that? The dark-haired or?
No, the motorcycle.
The blondish?
The one that was rode with me and talking about that was his bike and stuff. The Mexican-looking boy.
Oh, the dark-haired one.
Yeah, that's the one that had the bike stole. The blonde-headed boy evidently just brought him down in there to look for it. He was the one that was driving that gold Lexus.
And these were young guys, too.
Yeah, they'd probably around 25, let's say middle 20s, probably.
Yeah. And the one they both had long hair, didn't they?
No, the blonde hair didn't have real short hair, about like mine is right now, cut that same way.
So
And
like
he
a
just about
short.
that tall.
He was real short, huh?
Yeah, that's why I even thought he was JR, because JR, he's real short and little. Won't weigh maybe 80 to 100 pounds.
So this guy is like 80 to 100 pounds, like the
The one
blonde,
that was driving the Lexus he wasn't big at all. He
the
was
blonde
small.
head guy, and he had short hair, like
He damn sure wasn't over 100 pounds soaking wet.
yeah, 100 pounds, like, and he was probably like 5'6" or something. He was tiny.
I doubt if he was even that.
5 foot. He's little.
Because that other guy, he would probably be 5'5" or something. He's shorter than you are.
Yeah.
But he was more,
Stocky.
yeah, he wasn't real stocky, but I mean, he was thicker than the guy that he was with.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. It is weird because the way the one guy talked about how, which would be in the Mexican guy, about how it was like his baby girl, right?
Yeah,
The dark hair.
He traded his dad
The
that red truck for Toyota truck for that bike, and that bike or something about that. I forget how he said something about that was like his baby girl or something. Then he said, "Wonder how motherfuckers gonna like it when that something about their baby girl or something." That's what made it stick out to me.
mm-hmm.
But he was on the phone, or he got on the phone, or right when we got next to the motel, arguing with somebody. So, but when I pulled in right there in front of the office. That's where they unloaded it at.
And it was somebody the dark or
And then they pushed it down the sidewalk at the office door. As you go in the office door, and still going in the office door, they pushed it down the sidewalk between the pool and the building, and took it in like the fourth room down on the left.
yeah. And the dark skinned guy had longer hair, and it was like in a man bun.
And see, the bike, it was a Harley, and the tank was painted like rattlesnake skin, and that's the way the seat was too, like wrapped in rattlesnake skin.
There are some people who are distracted from the truth, and we all know who they are. I know. And I just wish that we could all just like work together and put out facts instead of like I feel like, you know, I'd rather just focus on facts and not have to always feel like I did a few days of drama, but you know, I really get tired of being like singing back and these people talking all kinds of shit, and instead of focusing on what's important, you know, honestly. So he said it was like a rattlesnake seat, and whatever it is had rattlesnake, and that it was a Harley, and that, yeah, I think he said they were like 25 years old. Oh, I know. But hopefully this nightmare will be over soon. Like, I'm never going to get involved in any freaking case again. I really have no interest. I'm interested in cases, but I don't want to. I'm not interested in covering any cases anymore because it's too much, like, um, drama. Mainly. Well, I went once to help search for summer, and Austin told me to go searching. Tell me if you go searching. Are you serious? I know, like I said, like, I was talking to a woman who was with EquiSearch for a very long time. Like, I still could contact her. She was thinking about being a guest at some point, but she's not with them anymore. And she had some weird experiences with law enforcement.
Rihanna
Rhiannon said I should. I did draw cards for Summer Wells. Like, I did record a video the other day, just a private one by myself, but I didn't release it. Just kept it. That's pretty crazy. These two guys. Let's see what card I get for when I ask if they're related to whatever happened to Summer Wells. What? It's just so much shit going on that day. It's crazy, dude. The consciousness card in reverse came up. If I went by that card, I'd have to say not related, but I don't know. I'm not going to do a whole tarot reading on here or anything. No, that's not what this channel's for, but I do get curious and draw cards and just see what I'd get. It is weird how I really don't understand though the secrecy surrounding why this woman was acting like that, and it just didn't seem like she really did turn it in the way she was saying it. Maybe now it's too late because it's almost 5 years later. I can't believe in just a month it's going to be the 5-year anniversary. He didn't want you guys searching anywhere, or was it just that is I heard that from several people. Oh, well, hopefully something will change someday soon. You don't feel she turned it in. Yeah, the way she's acting, it doesn't seem like she did. But maybe now she's wondering if she should have, you know what I mean? Just say that if you didn't turn it in because you didn't think it was big. I don't know. I mean, it would suck, but shit happens. We were just saying if she did have it, to please turn it in. Okay, sounds good, Chloe. Is Western in opposite direction of where the junkyard is?
See, that is like when that horse run away in that interview and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
News crew. Their driveway is the same place that they caught that horse too. There's pictures of it in the driveway, but the horse ain't got nothing to do with summer and stuff. I'm just saying there's surveillance there. I know. Just like the picture that she had whoever to put out the other day trying to say, showing Don's truck and stuff,
Passing by.
Yeah, and that's the same spot that the motorcycle was broke down at on her driveway. The same spot she got Dawn to traveling towards Dawn's house.
Yeah, that's the same camera that should have got the gold Lexus and this motorcycle on camera, right? That same camera, unless it's, I don't know. It could have definitely, if I had to pull up something from 5 years ago, I wouldn't be able to. But actually, I don't even think I had cameras 5 years ago. Did somebody was asking if the west side, so the West Side Inn, is it the opposite direction of where the junkyard is?
Junkyard's on a different road than that road. It's farther up, a lot farther up. It's on John B. Dennis, and that was on Stone Drive. See, they tore the motel and West Side Inn down now.
Fred did see, so Brandon's bike was who Fred, he hauled Brandon's bike into Ben Hill Road that day, and he saw
and then Brandon trying to say that it wasn't even, I didn't even haul his on the 15th and stuff. What he was having Glenda Head to put out and stuff.
I mean, it's on camera. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they pulled the footage of West Side, and I'm sure they pulled the footage at Zoomers. And
helped by someone in my county who does try, and they turned them away because they would find some ingredients that would have found corruption.
Just like they supposed to went and pulled the footage of the aquatic center and stuff,
Yeah, it sounds like they were really busy that day.
That's probably the little piece of timeline that when Chris McDonough was doing that interview with Hunter and Allie and them that they couldn't talk about.
Wait, who couldn't talk about?
That's what somebody was stating the other day on the live. Somebody was playing a little bit of it where Allie had said that there was a little piece that they couldn't talk about or something. I'm assuming it's probably what happened before they got to Allie's or whatever that morning before they picked up home. Because Hunter went with them when they was at the aquatic center, from what I was told. Did his grandest summer and Candace. When they're talking that blonde.
So Allie said there was some stuff that she couldn't talk about.
That's what I understood. Somebody said. But the timeline of that day.
Huh. What time was the aquatic center thing?
Supposed to be like 11:30. Supposed to be. What they told me, I don't know. What I was told, 11:30. They said Candace was there.
Of course, this part is hearsay, guys. So it's not like Fred's firsthand experience. So don't say call him a liar if something's wrong with this, because this is just something he was told from their supposed firsthand experience, like about seeing Candace at aquatic center.
Candace, Grandis, and Summer. Candace was talking to a blonde-headed lady that had some other kids with her and was talking about the CPS and stuff.
So speaking of Chris McDonough, I contacted him today and asked, about releasing, our conversation with them, and he was wanting to maybe do something together, so we'll see how that goes. I don't know. Fred doesn't really like to do panels and stuff, but I don't know. We'll see what the idea is and keep you guys up to date on that. Every time, like, I don't know if it helps, like, Summer, but every time it's like every time there's something big like that, people go crazy, and it's just a lot of drama. But yeah, I was listening to some of that conversation today.
And see, that's what one of the conversations with Dawn you was having with Dawn here, what was it, a month or so ago? I asked him if he would ask Candace about that lady of being at the aquatic center, and then she said she talked to a woman there, but it wasn't on the 15th. You see, that's what she tried to say while you was talking to Dawn on the phone.
Candace did confirm she talked to some woman, but I don't think anybody's hearing anything. Hopefully not. But the one time that we talked to Dawn, kind of, how I said that we talked to Dawn for like one time. I think there was only one phone call and one like conversation. I think we've only talked to him on the phone once, I think.
Yeah, the same time you was talking to him on that phone call is when I had him to ask Candace about that situation.
If she talked to somebody at the aquatic center on the 15th, and she said this incident happened a different day.
Yeah, she said she did talk to a lady there and stuff, but it wasn't on the 15th. That's all she would say.
Yeah.
But the girl that got a hold of me to turn the information in, she had warrants and stuff out. The reason she was afraid to talk to law enforcement, the one that actually witnessed Candace and Grandis and Summer being there, because she was there swimming and stuff herself. And see, that's a water park. And see, that's right there as you turn up a hill at Priceless at Kings, where they went and shopped afterward too. But the girl that was telling me, she said there was several kids, little girls with that blonde-headed lady. Said there's actually two blonde-headed ladies, but Candace was only talking to one of them. and was talking about the CPS and all that.
Maybe the girl got the days mixed up, you think?
I don't know. But the woman, she said what she felt odd about the conversation she heard was the woman that Candace was talking to was from that area. She was from, I can't remember if she said Indianapolis or Minneapolis.
Which that's creepy because, you know,
She
Indiana.
said that's what stood out to her.
Indiana came up so much.
You know, she was trying to figure out how would somebody from here, like up here in Indiana or whatever, know anything about them discussing the CPS case. Is what she felt more suspicious than anything. That's why I was wanting to know from Candace, did you talk to a certain woman about CPS and stuff on the 15th at the Aquatic Center? Could she have took and followed you around and maybe did pick up some or something because of the situation? That's what I was trying to get at towards Candace.
It's just weird this CPS stuff was going on at the time, like Summer went missing. The perfect storm, like Jody Sue says, I guess, right? Yeah, somebody was giving me shit under one of my videos and saying, oh, I turned off the video as soon as I heard you say Di and Candace were innocent. I literally never said that. I just said I'm more open to the fact or to the idea now that maybe, like,
I mean, they're not 100% innocent no matter what, any which way you look at it. They know something.
Yeah, more than likely.
They absolutely 100% know something. I mean, you know, they're not plumb in the dark on it.
Right, that's our opinion, obviously. So I'm just more open to the idea that maybe there could have been some kind of revenge thing or somebody trying to get, you know, especially with this bike situation and this broke down whatever bike and stuff. Like, the more I thought about it and stuff, and you know, I didn't even get to even thinking much about it until after this conversation with this woman because of how weird she acted about it.
And see, just like a bike situation and stuff, you know, somebody could, I mean, if it was a revenge, it could have been a revenge towards somebody else, and they thought it was Dawn that actually done it because a certain person in that area was bad to steal bikes and stuff. And just like when they stole that doctor's car and stuff and was hiding it in people's garages and barns and stuff, you know, and people not even knowing it even being there. And then it's odd that the one if the bike was sold and done that way, it was the same when it had me to haul a bike back in. It made me wonder, well, did he have me haul his bike back in to Ben Hill to make it look a certain way too, you know?
To make it look what way? You know, I'm kind of brain dead.
I don't know how to.
Like to set something up a certain way, like.
It's hard for me to put what I want to say.
Yeah.
But I was thinking maybe when they said they found it on Ben Hill, maybe they found it in the shed at Dawn's, is what I was thinking too, you know. Because remember, there was a white car set down there across from a shed several days. Could they done been down there looking for the bike for several days in a different vehicle?
Yeah, that was the first time we asked Dawn about that bike too, right? Didn't we bring up this like bike? Like when we
I
talked
think
to
it was in
Don,
that
we,
conversation a little bit too with Dawn, I think.
like wanted to ask him about this bike if it's.
And I would like to know where the her son or whatever had that motorcycle uniform on or that Honda outfit on.
Yeah, that picture.
I'd like to know exactly where they got that from, because a certain person that used to wear that same outfit around the creek all the time.
Yeah, and that just so happened that picture.
Be the same one that hauled bike back to Ben Hill to work on.
And that just so happened to be the picture that was uploaded on June 15th, too.
At 6-something, and that's when she took back down.
Yeah, and he's in that oversized outfit. The oversized, like, it's like a bike racing outfit.
Yeah, it's in a Honda.
Or Fox Racing, like, bike outfit that's obviously way too big for him. And he's wearing shoes that are way too big for him, too, isn't he?
Huh?
And he's wearing shoes that are way too big for him, too, I thought, too, wasn't he?
Yeah, everything that boy had on looked like the same everything that Brandon always wore. Even the boots he had on.
That is so weird, dude. Did Brandon hang up out there one time on the lot?
I don't know if he did or not. Brandon was alcoholic bad at that time, so I don't know. I don't know if they hung out up there or not. I never heard him mention up there, but they hung out with a lot of different people.
Motocross outfit. My dad and brother ride and race. Yeah. Or to say the guy didn't have the bike, Fred had it. Fred, did you pass Candace on Lone Star?
No, I never seen Candace on the 15th. I didn't see her or Grandis at all.
Yeah. Laura, like we talked about yesterday, tried to say that she thought they saw Candace, but Fred doesn't remember that.
I didn't see Candace. I even asked Laura not too long ago. I said, "What do you mean we supposed to see Candace or whatever?" She's like, "Well, we passed them out there at Levi Love's, which is about 3/4 of a mile from Ben Hill." She said they was going towards Ben Hill and said they was in that green Suburban or Tahoe or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that Tahoe wasn't even running at that time, as I know of. So I don't know what she was talking about. I never seen a vehicle when I left out of Ben Hill that evening and went to Glenda Heads and came back from Light Hauler there. When I come back out from Glenda Heads and went to turn right, that's where that bike was broke down, the first driveway on the left. And then I back up after talked to them and went to go get the trailer. I back up into Light Hauler to turn. I mean, that's how close the driveways are. And I went back to Ben Hill and hooked the trailer up and come back out there. And I don't remember seeing nobody on the road at that time. Now, there was a vehicle of some sort when they was trying to load that bike up that was coming from Kingsport and went around the truck and stuff. I don't remember what it was. Because I was helping them with the bike. I do remember a vehicle going around us because I was pointing towards, I was pulled over onto the incoming lane traffic, like coming back towards Ben Hill on Beach Creek.
Well, see, I think that with Fred had you talked about your story a lot more than Laura did too. So I don't think Laura is probably not going to remember the day as well as Fred did because, I mean, for one, he recorded for law enforcement and I mean, Laura wasn't really around for that, was she, when you recorded for law enforcement?
She was at the house. I mean, at the camper at 207, but she wasn't with me down there when I recorded. No.
Maybe Brandon gave Alfred away that day. It's just weird because that means that he would have been around them that day if that were true. You know what I mean? And those are. It's
Or
really.
had
I
to
mean,
be
it doesn't.
around them up to that date or
Yeah.
something, you know.
I mean, it doesn't mean anything like he's suspicious.
I'm
Just
just trying to figure
because.
out how that they would have got that outfit or whatever.
Yeah.
If they hollered that they never knew each other or nothing. That just like a green hat that Candace has got on when she's sitting in the woods, slumped up against that tree and stuff. I like to know where a hat right there come from because there's one person out of Johnson City that wore a hat like that. That's the only person I've ever seen wear a hat like that. And he did visit Ben Hill Road a little bit.
Huh.
And at that time, he was homeless, staying behind a dollar store in Elizabeth, towards Elizabethton, on Elizabethton Highway or something off 11 East.
What's the date of that picture? Do you remember?
I don't know what day that picture was. I'm just saying the hat she had on appeared to be one he always wore.
It probably was his. I mean, Dawn complained about her taking random people home from gas stations and stuff to party with, or somebody came up early on. I mean, I don't want to talk
his
bad about.
His boyfriend was from that.
Oh, so he was gay?
Yeah. He was a young like boy, but the man that he's in relationship, he's old, man. His name was David. I don't know his last name.
Huh. Yes.
About that boy, I mean.
That is, I don't know.
That boy has came and got dope and stuff from me. I mean, you know.
Which one?
The David guy that used to wear a hat like Candace was wearing.
Oh,
the same hat.
Yeah.
That's why I was just wondering, and it was weird that he talked about when around that time he was homeless and stuff, and was him and his boyfriend had broke up or whatever, and he was living in some woods behind the Dollar General store, and oh shit, it's off. I'm trying to think exactly. It's off 11E. It's right next to Bluff City Bridge. I think it is.
He could have been one of Candace's little drinking buddies. I mean, did he drink?
Yeah, he was alcoholic bad.
Yeah, so I mean that was kind of Candace's drug of choice. So
him and his partner broke up because he.
It's very likely they could have crossed paths. Yeah, I heard early on Candace liked to bring strangers home to party. I think it was Hunter's family. Yeah.
But he drove a little gold, kind of a champagne-ish gold-colored Ford Ranger.
That's crazy. You wouldn't think that there would be that many gay people in that area because it's so country, and you would think there'd be a lot of.
They originally live in Johnson City. I mean, that's where David was living with that other guy, you see. But see, he was from that area. I mean, born and raised.
I don't know. It just seems like it would be a very I don't know. Maybe I'm stereotyping how I think the area would be. I would think they'd be more racist and.
But see, it just makes me wonder why Dawn was wanting to know if I know how to check a black web or dark web, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And stuff. And then that boy being into a lot of shit on the black web and stuff because he's all the time changing his hard drives out on his laptop he always had with him.
What boy?
The David guy. The one that had the hat that Candace was wearing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was all the time changing hard drives out in his laptop.
So he was into some shady stuff online then.
I don't know what he was doing online, but he talked like it had something to do with drugs. But if it had something to do with drugs, why are you coming and buying shit off of me? You know?
Oh my God. Okay, so that is weird. If he was all, and this is and this guy who wears this certain hat, you saw Candace wearing the same hat, and it made you wonder.
The green hat that she's sitting in the woods like a slump down, and you know.
And it looked like this dude's hat.
Yep. Because that's the only person I've ever seen wear a hat like that. When I first seen that hat with her sitting in, that it come out on YouTube, I'm like, that's David's fucking hat. I wonder how she got David's hat.
So he's just into this computer stuff.
He always had a laptop with him and doing stuff on it.
Who knows? What he could just be completely innocent. Maybe he's farming Bitcoin. I don't know how that shit works. I don't know.
But I've never seen him around children or nothing. Know anything about him with children or nothing. David.
Well,
he's usually just a nauseous drunk.
Huh. I just didn't expect there to be such a.
I mean, there's so much that possibilities in this case that ain't. I mean, it's hard to really pinpoint what's important, what's not important. So, you know.
Right.
Because when he bought them tires and rims off of me and he put them on his truck and stuff, he was trying to disguise it because he had warrants or something other out in Washington County or something. That was his excuse for wanting them tires or whatever and rims to make his truck look different. And he bought a camper top, and then something other he had left out of Ben Hill. And I know he talked to Dawn or Candace and stuff at that time, around that time, because one of them was helping him with his truck because he didn't get one of the rims tightened up or something other before he left, because he did talk about it broke down or something about the driveway right there, but before you get to the end of Ben Hill, before you get to the creek, so it had to be Dawn. But that was way before someone went missing. When that was probably, I don't know, 6 months or something when they got them rims and stuff off of me.
Now he was saying he got something off Dawn. Is that what you're saying?
No, we talking about one of them was helping him with his tire.
Oh.
He's talking about he didn't say which one. He just said the people lived up on the hill, the last driveway there.
Oh, so probably Dawn and Candace. More than likely.
He did mention that, but I don't know if he knew them before then or whatnot.
When I get Fletcher like this, I just go back to Ground Zero, Grandis, and Hunter. I always go to Candace, Dawn, and Grandis.
I mean, I've heard so much about this
Candace
from the locals and around and people that I was in jail with and stuff. And a lot of them talk like they had first-hand knowledge and stuff, but you know how it is. All of it's hearsay.
What time was it when you and Laura arrived home? I mean, like, finally that evening? Like, was Laura with you when you got home that day?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you
was with me when I bikes and stuff to Kingsport and back.
Yeah.
And she was with me when we took them. They had a holler shut down when we got back and pulled in, you see.
Yeah. Wonder what time. Do you know what time that would have been? That's a hard one to say.
7:30 or so.
Yeah.
Between 7:30 and 9. We got, I don't know, probably 7:45. Just guessing, you know.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Poor Summer. Hopefully she's safe somewhere and yeah, that's
That
a
is
fun.
my final arriving time. What are you talking about? I sure didn't leave after I got to the holler.
Yeah.
Only with law enforcement.
Yeah.
When we rode down to the church and they took the information off my phone and stuff. And then rode back with them. And that was in the maroon truck, 4-door truck.
Yeah, he didn't go out again that night.
No. I just walked down there and recorded for law enforcement.
So, all right, on the dungeon.
I didn't even leave out of the holler the next day. It was several days before I left out.
Yeah, there was a lot of like police presence, and he didn't have a license. So, for one,
Yeah.
so he wasn't going to be like in a just driving in and out constantly. Well, at that time in June 15th, it wouldn't have got dark till probably like 8:30 or 9.
It was probably 8 or 9 before it got plumb dark, you know.
Yeah, because he still had
9:30 if it get, depending on how dark they want to call dark.
It's going to be similar to how it is up here. And right now it's May 14th.
Yeah, but
And
a lot of time in them hollers and stuff.
It's going to even be staying lighter, even darker around June 15th. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be like light until almost 9, at least. But anyways, guys.
I mean, I recorded till after it got plumb dark, you know. I walked back in there, back home after it plumb dark.
So you actually recorded when it was...
I was recording in daylight.
Yeah, so he would have started recording really soon after. That means the police everything had to have happened so fast.
It did happen real fast. I mean, it was just boom, 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 boom. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't been home just a few minutes when Dawn actually come up there and stuff, you know?
Right.
And then as soon as he left, they pulled in.
Right. So yeah, it would have happened within like
almost talked a little bit there and give a statement and stuff. Then we went straight from there to I rode with them to the command center and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when they dip the phone or whatever they do with it. And then when we come back up is when I was trying to think if it was in the truck or after we got out of the truck at 2:07 from coming back from the command center at night or evening when they was asking me to record them.
Yeah, I mean, it has been like 5 years now, so it's hard to remember exactly the exact details, especially about stuff that you haven't thought about exactly where you were when...
Because, see, the TBI didn't come until the 16th and take statements from people the evening of the 16th.
So that's crazy to think that everything pretty much happened so fast. Like you were like within an hour. Like within an hour of you really getting back from Ben Hill, you're already like recording for law enforcement,
Well,
pretty
it was
much.
a little over an hour.
I know, but you were already like agreeing to almost.
Yeah, pretty much. But because pretty much once I agreed, they're like, hand me the thing, and they pull out, and I walk straight down there.
Yep. Hope this nightmare ends. Like I say, every freaking live. I hope Summer Wells gets her justice, and the truth comes out completely. Yeah, I heard that Jody Sue was like live for like 11 hours because she wanted to say I'm exploiting her or what did she say? I was talking about her kids or something, just because I felt like, or in that call I played, me and Fred theorized that, well, I theorized that Jody Sue is hiding something that possibly her son knows or did. That was just a theory. Because it doesn't make sense. Like she's been so, it just, what else would drive somebody like to be on for that many hours a day, a week? You know what I mean? Like, the only thing that makes sense is somebody trying to, a mother's love for their child, really. But at the same time, she claims to hate Andy. So it's like you, after a while, you try to, it just seems like what makes the most common sense to me. It just makes most sense. I mean,
Yeah, it wasn't just my phone they did. They did supposedly everybody's phone that had been around Ben Hill and stuff. That was on camera and stuff. I was one of the first phones they did, I guess. I guess they dipped them to see who was connected to who, I'm assuming. That was communicating amongst each other or whatever beforehand and during and after and all that. And see, I've never had talked to Jody or Andy or Don or had none of them numbers or nothing. I've never talked to none of them on the phone. Never had their numbers. Never wanted their numbers.
never would have needed them. You guys weren't even in the same type of drug scene, really. And thank God. Don't they need a warrant? Not if you're
You have to sign a piece of paper.
Yeah, you can agree to it.
Yeah, they
Fred didn't
ask for your permission to do it, and you sign a piece of paper if you do. If you don't sign it, then they get a warrant. Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna get it no matter what. So, and plus, like, if you have nothing to hide, there's not. Except, obviously, Fred's gonna know there's probably drug stuff on his phone.
That's why I took when I signed the paperwork, I stated for anything could be used to find Summer, but nothing else could be used for drug related. And it was signed like that. Because I didn't know right then that it is a matter of time. My days is numbered because of the drug scene,
Yeah.
And then giving them the footage of everybody that was coming and going out, from the house and stuff on my cameras and all that. I mean,
Pam, they dip everybody's phones in the area.
Yeah.
What was the purpose? There was a missing girl. They're dipping everybody's phones who are in the area. they're going to ask for everybody's permission and see how they act. You know what I mean? You can deny it, but they're going to ask everybody, like, hey, can we dip your phone? You know, we're taking everybody's, and they're going to use that. They're going to take it, you know, record people's reactions. And if they agree or if they put up you know what I mean?
I mean,
It's
when
all
they
part
do
of the
that, they don't need your PIN
investigation.
number, no nothing. They take and set it in this machine. They just set it in it.
They need a reason there's a child missing. That's the reason.
Yeah, they extract everything off your phone. Pretty much, probably what they really done is probably mirrored everybody's phone. Truth be told, when they done all that, they probably mirrored it as well to a device.
Did Sherfy lose his phone that day? Is that how Sherfy's activities were exposed? That's a good question. I don't know.
What?
Well, Sherfy Jr., you know, he got in trouble for some kind of.
See, I ain't know much about the Sharkies.
So I just wonder if that had something to do because everybody had their phones. Like,
I mean, like
anybody. I mean, they asked everybody, and you had a right to deny. You could deny. You could, if you wanted to. You could have. You could decide not to, but when it comes to a missing child, like, I don't know. They're paying attention to the ones that aren't going to be willing and the ones that just like. I don't know. For some reason, what I don't understand is I remember them having to track down, like, why did what was that incident where they contacted Andy or Andy's son at a grandparent's house for their phone?
They went and picked up a device though.
Yeah.
They did take a search warrant though, wasn't it?
Yeah. What was that? That's weird. That is kind of, I remember that. That is very, nobody thinks about that. Like, we're not supposed to think about the fact that they went back later for some kind of device of like Andy Bernard's or Andy's son. Do you guys not remember that? Like, that's kind of a big deal. But let's see, Sour Patch Lemonade. That's what I have. Is that something that came from Kraken Cases or something about the phone thing? Are you sure about that? Sure if he was with Tony Hammonds? I didn't know that. I don't know about all that, but anyways, yeah, I don't know about the other stuff. I like to look. I kind of remember. It's been so long since I looked into that Surfy stuff, so I don't want to comment. I don't know. I'll have to look into it and what you're talking about. If that he lost his phone the day, like they took it because of Summer Wells. Wow, that's crazy. Well, I do know that PG's phone used to go back to a certain the head name, which is kind of weird. Like when, according to Benny Keys, like when he first looked up her number, like the very first time he talked to her, he claimed it went back to the last name Head. And it's weird because that's a name that's in the area of Beach Creek. I don't know though. You've seen videos of them partying? Who knows? We probably have seen videos. There's been so many videos out there.
I mean, that's like Tony Hammonds. I don't know nothing about Tony Hammonds.
Yeah.
Chad's one that put him on in the area. One that told the law enforcement that Tony Hammonds was in the area.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what Chad told me. Yeah. So I don't know if it's true or whether it's not. But Chad's the one that told me that he talked to him about Tony Hammonds being in the area. But seeing Tony Hammonds or something in the area of the 15th. See, they dipped Chad's phone too.
Yeah,
But it was later on, like about a week later, because they had a hard time trying to find out where he was located at.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is a problem, Pam. If, all of a sudden he lost his phone when they were trying to dip everybody's phone, you know what I mean? I did hear that, Chloe, I did hear that. People swore by that, but I don't know.
What is it?
That PG sent Don lingerie pics.
That's what somebody was saying.
I mean, people swear by it, but
the Sissy Bible account, it was connected to Allison's account through Facebook in 2019?
or like, back when True ran away from home or something for a short time. Sissy Bible was sharing Allie's post in like 2019.
My phone charger is sick. I'll show you a picture where somebody, I believe it was Crime Lines and Lies, I think it was, showed that it's supposed to be it would show the blue van, and Allie's supposed to be driving it with a mattress on top and stuff. So it's been around the time that Jose was supposed to be helping her move or whatever. Same van Drew was in, or not Drew, but True on 15th. With the side door open.
Yeah, so now you think it was True for sure?
I'm pretty sure it was True. I didn't know who she was at the time when law enforcement was asking me to identify the person that was in the van because you couldn't see the driver, you could just see the one on the passenger side. And I didn't know her at the time. I didn't know her until later on. That's the only one that I didn't know that was in them photos and stuff, that they were showing me. And that was from Thompson's camera. They was never on my camera.
Hmm.
And they just showed the passenger side of the van, and the side door was open on the van when they went by the camera, and it took the picture. And you couldn't see the driver where the picture was took, but you could see the passenger. And I didn't know who it was at the time, but after True's picture and stuff come out on YouTube and stuff, I'm like, okay, that's who it was.
Hmm. Um. Sorry, I was reading a message. I don't know. Jose might still. That'd be crazy. Like, there was so much controversy around that, too. How did Allie really pass away?
She was showing stuff. I screenshotted it here to see the same color as her van. See, 3 vans in that they the same color. Our van, this Julie's van.
That's so weird.
Julie's van.
She just so happened to have a blue van like this.
It was Julie's van and Lynn Fields' van, and then this van.
Wow, so Allie was in the holler on the 15th then.
Mm-hmm. So did they come and pick up Hunter? But I don't know the exact timestamp on that picture or nothing. They were just asking who was in that picture on it.
So why didn't they tell everybody?
I'm sure they'll probably. Well, they was asking them to identify people, so they could question them or whatever.
I wonder why they didn't want people to know, though, that they were on Ben Hill Road, though.
I just like them hanging out even after someone was missing and stuff up there on the hill. As soon as they pulled the Lyle off at the guard, then Ben Hill Road there at the tent as you turn off of Beach Creek on the Ben Hill.
Mm-hmm.
The night my truck tore up before you get to Don's driveway, they come off like 1:30 in the morning. Grand Buns and I can't remember the name. That other one he wasn't.
Sherry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sherry and that. No.
Allie.
It wasn't Allie. It was the two other ones.
Mm-hmm. Sherry and Grand Bun.
And drunk off their ass. Threatening to call Ronnie Lawson. Said they had Ronnie Lawson on speed dial. I said, call him.
Yeah, so they were up there like partying with the Wells after Summer went missing.
They was in a black SUV at that time when they come out.
Hunter wasn't in the video, though. That doesn't mean anything.
What is it?
Hunter not being in the video on the way home. you don't see everything, but everything in the vehicle. Also, we're not talking about them. We're just saying that Allie's vehicle was on the road.
Yeah, I don't know what Hunter was with on my walk.
I mean, there was somebody. There was a blue van, and Crime Lies and Lies just put out a picture of this of Allie.
It was a video or something, and I screenshotted it.
Was a video of Allie driving this blue van, and it just so happens to look like the same van that Fred was showed by law enforcement and asked who was driving that vehicle.
And that was the only one.
And there was
I didn't know who was in that day.
And there was a mixed girl in the driver's side passenger seat, and Fred didn't know who she was at that time, but now he believes it was Allie, or True.
And see, the side door was open too on the van. It was slid all the way back.
So that doesn't say anything like Hunter. I don't know. It just says that they were there.
I'm just saying that there was speculations of Hunter returning back to the Hollow with him. I don't know if he did or whatnot, But that could have been how he got back home or whatever.
What's this video?
But wait a minute, Don. You're not supposed to say that. It's a matter of, oh God, I better tell him it's me. You guys were like, what?
Yeah, that's PG.
But wait a minute, Don. You're not supposed to say that. It's a matter of, oh God, I better tell him it's me. You guys were like, what?
That does sound like PG. I don't know.
But wait a minute, Don. You're not supposed to say that. It's a matter of, oh God, I better tell him it's me.
What kind of van was there on the 15? That van there. I didn't get to see the timestamps on them pictures. It wasn't on my cameras. It was on Thompson camera. They were just asking to identify the vehicles that had got captured on it. I don't even think the way they had the pictures and stuff, I don't even think even had the timestamp on showing on them. On Thompson's camera, when they was asking people.
Besides, there's no way he's going to remember the time of every video or every timestamp he's shown. That'd be crazy.
I just know the timestamp on that one with the blue truck because I studied that picture, trying to take and see if I could ever figure out who would even make out anything of the truck, That's how I know that timestamp's so good. And that was from my camera at 167.
But, all right, guys.
I'm going to go smoke.
I'm going to get off here. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because I thought I do think it's important.
Yeah, the pictures they showed me of Thompson's camera wanting people to identify the people that was in it was on the road on the 15th.
And there was several people on the, that were driving blue vans. I mean, there were several blue vans, and one of them
3 different blue vans that day.
Yeah.
The same color blue at that. And 2 of them exact same model and stuff, make and model. One different bumper and one a different fender.
Allie's van was more square.
Mm-hmm.
Like a big square van.
Chevy Astro.
All right, guys. Good night. I'll talk to y'all later.